Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Kevin. Welcome tonight to the Tuesday training call. Just getting started. We got a lot of people on already. That's great news. As you guys can see, the screen that I'm showing right now is the YouTube channel, and I am going to send the link out right now. I finally have the link without having to ask. Amazing. So anyway, last week, I'm sorry, the videos that I put out, the audio was bad. So I just deleted all of those and I redid them. There is 7 videos. So if you go to this link, and they're not in unison, I don't know why, but if you go here, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're just short little videos. They just kind of walk through myself going through, picking a template, and going through the editor. So basically, you guys can now go to these videos and they'll work. The audio should work fine. Hi, Eddie. Do we need to copyright our ebooks? Is a question coming from us. Great question, by the way. For our ebook or our clients, not really. It's not going to go that far for clients for the copyright, unless it's a great big book and it's something that's really, really, really special. Then that's another notion there. I'm not real sure about that. That's something I'll check into. Link not working on that. Let me check. Let me see if I can go to the dashboard. Let me see what we have. Let me click on it and see if it works. Let's hope this doesn't freeze up the system. It shouldn't. So just hang on. Still a lot of people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, there it is. It is working. So this link should work. I just clicked on it. So it should be working fine. Yes. Yeah, go to webinar. It's always a little slow on my end, so I understand. I do understand. Thanks, Yvonne. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lynn. So Mitch, try the link again. That's fine. Everything's great. Can't open this. Try it again. Can't copy the link again. Yes, I can. I can do that. So still no. Okay, let's try it again. I'll just copy the link. You guys can see it in the screen here. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to send it over. If anybody else is having a problem, let me know. That's kind of strange. I just clicked on it within the chat bar and it worked perfect. So we'll just keep doing that. Tonight we're going to do a hot seat a little bit. And we're going to go through someone's, I shouldn't even call it a hot seat because the ebook that I looked at, and Percy's here. Welcome, Percy. We're going to go through Percy's ebook tonight. Looks great, by the way. Did a stunning job on it. So my hat's off to Percy. We're going to go through that in a little bit. But we're going to start out a little bit different. We're going to start out with some of the videos. I want to kind of go over them with you guys. So we'll go from there. A lot of people still coming in. Just come on in. Okay, still not working for me. Joseph, it's not working. Still not opening. Not sure why. That's weird, you guys. Doesn't work. A whole bunch of you are saying it's not working. Okay, does anybody... That's your link. Okay. Maybe that is. Let me see. Someone else, if you have the link, give it to me here. Give me the link that you guys are getting into. That's probably true. Probably is my link since I'm in the studio for Sqribble. Good point. We'll try that again. But it should work. I would think it would work. Because I'm at the studio. But you guys try it. See if you have another link. That would be great. Go ahead and send it over if you guys have it. Still a lot of people coming in, so we're going to give it a few more minutes. Tonight we're going to go through an ebook that someone sent in. And then we'll just go through some of the different items that people are really wanting to look at here. I'm trying to understand exactly where people are at, and I'm really seeing that a lot of you want to go through some of the tools and how to edit and all that. That looks like the same link. Let's try that. Okay, I'm just going to click it. Yeah, you guys are sending me the same link. Unless there's something I'm not seeing. UXB, blah, blah, blah. Let's try it again. Can you guys see that? Okay, I just got this from one of the members here. Let's try it one more time. Entire audience. Okay, I'm going to go back one space. Maybe that was it. Okay, try that one, you guys. Maybe I had an extra space in there when I clicked on the link. It should work, but we'll keep trying. And it's the same exact link that I have, I think, up here, channel. Yeah, UK, yeah. I'm looking at it completely. It's the same exact link. It's not working for you guys. Strange. So, Mitch, it's working for you. Will, it's working for you. Yvonne, Percy. I don't understand. Oh, yeah. Don't use the studio in the link. Okay, some of you guys gave me the same link, but I'm going to try another one. You're probably right. It's the studio. So take the studio out of the link. Let me see what I can do here. I'm going to paste. I'm going to take the studio out. Okay, that should work. Good point. Let's send that off. Okay, try that, you guys. That should work. Try it again, Brad. Okay, cool. Finally, it should be working. Yes, it works. Finally, okay, great. Welcome, everybody. This is Kevin for the Sqribble webinar tonight. It's Tuesday. Hope everybody had a happy Easter. It was a good weekend. I enjoyed it. It was nice having a few days with the family. Okay, open now. Okay, great. Thank you, you guys. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm going to walk through them real quick just to show you some of the stuff that we have. And like I said, they're basic. They're real short. They're anywhere from 8 minutes down to 5 minutes. One's 10 minutes. And I have 1 through 7 here. And all I did was pick a template. I kind of made it just like one of you guys. I jumped in, grabbed a template, and just started editing. I even had a few little issues within the system because I was trying to do some of the different tools within, and it wasn't working on my computer, and then some of the buttons were. So if you guys see that, like I said, it's just like me getting in there. So you guys would probably go through the same exact format that I did, depending on if you have a Mac or a Windows machine. Sometimes it's different. And the browser can make a difference too. So we've all seen it. But the videos should show you quite a bit. I'm actually going to do a few more. And we're going to do that. Oh, somebody said on Easter they had a heavy rain and hail. Ooh, yes, belated Easter to everyone. Exactly. Welcome. Okay. But anyway, we're getting back to the videos here. You guys see the 7 videos. So go through them. Go through a few of them, see what you're thinking, and let me know directly where you're stuck, what you guys need. I'm going to do some more videos. I'm going to do a couple. I'm going to do one on content, at least 1 or 2 on content, how to get the content, how to edit the content, and so on and so forth. Also videos or pictures. You guys should be playing with Pixabay or Pexels. Those are the free websites that we had in some of our earlier training. Those free websites for pictures are great. And once again, I'm going to mention Snagit because that's my go-to tool for capturing pictures and videos. And in some of the videos that you guys are going to see here, I took the content from within the Sqribble system, and I was able to drop, take some of the content they have, drop it on a page, and then I explained to you guys, don't ever use the entire content verbatim. Make sure that you don't plagiarize, rework the content, and rewrite it, and go on from there. One thing I do have to say, and people are asking if the books need to be copyrighted. If your book's a big home run, and you think it's going to be a home run, copyright it. But it's expensive to trademark, copyright, so on and so forth. I mean, you're spending several $100. Copyright, it can take a while too. Definitely can take a while. I know a trademark takes a year, but you can get it, you can get the temporary trademark right away. I know that's around $500-600 just for a simple trademark. Copyright, it's going to take a little bit of time for the copyright also. And, I'm not going to say don't do it. If you have a book that's really something else and you spent, 6 months writing it, a couple months writing it, then yes, you may want to get it copyrighted. Definitely. So I'm not going to be the one to tell you not to, but if it's a simple book, that's up to you on what you want to do, because it can get spendy, but you never know. You could have the next great big hit. So, that's wonderful. If you guys have something like that, then, more power to you. I would definitely do it. No problem, Nico. That's a great question, actually. Someone just came back. Snagit has a 14-day trial at the moment. Very good. Yes, it does. Oh, cool. I never knew that, Yvonne. Okay, everybody, Snagit has a 14-day trial. Go for it. And a lot of times you can call them and say, could you extend it? It's their main company, and I'll give you what it is. I'm sure you're going to see it when it's there, but the main company's called TechSmith. So if you guys see that, that's the company you kind of want to mess with when you guys are doing Snagit. You can call them, and they're great. They usually pick up the phone. A lot of companies never do. It doesn't cost per year, Lynn. It's a one-time fee. I think it's around $60-70 right now. When I first bought it, guys, it was change, loose change. It was under $20, but that was years ago. So yes, it's only a one-time deal. So we're going to bring on Percy here in just a little bit. To Percy, let me ask you this. You must live in the north. Where was it snowing today, where you were? That just seems crazy to me because I live in Florida. I'm an old northern boy where I used to see snow every year. I haven't seen snow in many, many years, except in the mountains, but do I miss it? Yes. Every day? No. But so Percy, you must be living in the north. I know it snowed up in the plains and up in Montana and some of the higher elevations, or Colorado and all that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring Percy on here real quick, and we're going to start going through the ebook that he has. So hang on. Percy, I hope you're ready. I'm going to bring you on. Okay, Percy, there you are.
Yeah, I live up in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, you're a Canuck.
Yes, I am.
Fantastic.
So I apologize for everything. So I'm sorry.
It's all your fault.
I wouldn't go that far, but we're sorry about it.
I love the Canadians. I grew up next to the border in Montana. So yeah. I know the Canadians all too well. Do you know where Lethbridge is, or Cranbrook, and of course Calgary? Yeah,
I do, but I'm at the other end. I'm in Ontario.
Right, you're on the far end. But have you ever visited on the west side?
Oh yeah, I've been over to Calgary a couple times. Beautiful country.
And for a lot of you who don't know Canada, of course, it's just north of the United States, but it is really what a great country. I mean, I've traveled all the way through the Yukon, the Northwest Territories. I've driven up to Alaska like 6 times, and Whitehorse and all that. Beautiful country, Percy. Beautiful country. And
we do have some wonderful places. Yes.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay, Percy. Well, I'm going to bring on your ebook here and show people what you actually did. So let's get that started. Let's just hang on here, folks. Okay, here we go. Pleasure to talk to you, Percy. Now, Percy, let me ask you a few questions before we get down into it. How long did you spend on this ebook?
So I bought some content.
Okay.
And then I probably spent 2 or 3 weeks in the evening rewriting it.
Great.
And getting it to where it was my voice and my ideas as opposed to the original author. And then it probably took me a long time to do it in Sqribble. It probably took me about 2 weeks of picking away at it. A lot of pictures and stuff that I had to find on Pixabay and Upsplash. So, and then did they match and do all that other stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll go through some of the pictures and some of the different things you did. I have to say, I just blew through it really quick, but so far, really good. I mean, of course, I'll show you some of the changes that I think, but you made it really sleek. And folks, when I'm talking to you about sleek, what I see here, Percy had a lot of it in the black font. You know, he did his fonts great, and he didn't have a lot of color to it. And I say add color to a lot of stuff, but this one didn't need it. It really has a nice flair to it. It's in the grays with the black print with some nice pictures in it. And you use some of the tools. When you first got in, were you making mistakes with the tools and just the learning process, Percy, kind of going back and forth?
Yeah, this is probably my fifth or sixth publication with Sqribble. So I'm not a newbie, but I find stuff all the time when I'm walking through it.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of my learning curve was about a year and a half ago. So
cool. You did a great job. So we're going to go through it. And there's another person from the Great White North. Gary, welcome. I see that you're from Lethbridge and Calgary. So we got another Canadian in the house. So that's good. There's two of you now, Percy. Two of you on the call. Amazing.
That's great.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Canadians, we got to stick together.
You guys have to stick together. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Great country. Wonderful. Okay. The name of the book is Fresh Start. And we're going to start out here. It says how to change your life without burning it all down. Now, you said you bought the content. I have to ask you this too. Was a lot of the content already set and then you just completely reworded it to fit?
So I won't buy anything that I can't rewrite. So it came in a Word doc. And
right.
it came with its own cover. I changed that. I changed the title of the book. I added this legal notice and disclaimer because that's just what I put in.
And I like that.
This is a freebie to as a giveaway to get email addresses. That's what the intent is for this document.
So it's a hook, more or less, to try to get people coming back.
That's correct.
Wonderful.
And I'm working on the second book, which is going to be a paid one.
Wonderful.
That'll mirror this one. It'll go on and do some more stuff.
Let me ask you this. You did the copyright. This is not an image. This was text?
That was all text, yeah.
Okay. And the C for the copyright right here? You were able to do that?
I was able to snag that from a different document. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you did great. Fantastic. Did you have to go through the copyright and kind of reword it, or was it pretty much written for you?
I took out some of the legalese. Really, I just want people to understand that they shouldn't be reproducing this. I'm not actually, if I find that that you took this and you were using it as a freebie, I'm just going to ask you to not do that.
Exactly.
As opposed to, I'm not going to get a lawyer involved for this. I mean, it's a $9 product, right?
Right. And most people won't copy it. They'll do their own and take their content and run with it. I just see right here, you need a space. That's not a big deal. Where it says inattention right here. Yeah. That's nothing. Okay. So legal notice. I like what you did here. Now look at this, folks. I like this, what Percy did. He added the link. And in the videos, we show you how to do that. So if you guys can see this, I don't know if you can, but when you click on this or put your mouse over it, look in the bottom left-hand corner of your computer. It'll show the URL, the domain. So if you guys ever want to check your links or check a link, you hover your mouse over it and then go all the way down to the bottom left and it shows up down there on your computer, just so you guys know. So that looks good. Okay, you got that. Disclaimer, table of contents. Okay, you did great here. Okay, you can actually use the grid here. I can see a little bit.
I did. I got it as close as I could with the spacing.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad. What I would do is put 010406.
That'll clean it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll put the two digits in there. That would be great. Okay, introduction. What do we have? Reinventing, create a future self, minimalist, new look, realign your goals, reflect in solitude. I like that. So did you take this from your heart and your within yourself, a lot of it, and just kind of run
Uh,
with it?
yeah. For example, I am not a minimalist. I'm probably a maximist. Um, so when I came to that chapter, it was all about being a minimalist, and I would prefer to be a minimalist thinker, in the sense that I'm going to take the 30 things that are running around in my head, and I'm going to get it down to 2 or 3 and focus on them.
And then maximize those 2 or 3.
That's correct.
That's a good way to put it. Truly is. Okay, we're at the introduction here and I'm looking at it. Okay, like I said, we've got this thing is very clean. It's in the gray, so it kind of flows really well with some of the pictures that I'm seeing that you have right now. Everything's in grays and whites so far. See now, you got everything really spaced really well. I like the spacing in between your sentences here. That looks good. It's not, if you, a lot of you guys see the content here, even myself, a lot of times you'll run on and you'll have one big paragraph. I think what Percy did here was very bright, very good, because he spaced it. Like right here, he went and then it stops, and then he started again here. I like that. I like that a lot. When you derailed, you can reinvent yourself, start anew. It's one of the most powerful. And I love these books. I don't know about everybody out there, but I really do love self-help books and motivation because it works. It truly does. Just know that everybody that's out there, everything's in your brain. Everything's in your head. And stressful moments, happy moments, you name it, it gets inside your head. And, you know, we all feel different emotions at all times. So this is really, really good. And I always try to make sure with people, make sure that you guys really focus on the positives. Even though you're down and out or you're up and, you know, if you're up, great. But if you're down and out, you have issues, problems, just think positive. And I know a lot of people say, oh, God, thinking positive doesn't help. But I do have to say one thing, and maybe I'm wrong here, Percy, but if you think negatively quite a bit or you're thinking in a bad moment, your brain puts that, it's instilled and it keeps going. You can't break the loop.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is when you think you can't do something and you try. Well, you've lowered your chances of success dramatically, because if you think you can't do it and you think that all you're going to do is try, well, you're not going to put 110% into it, and that's just the way it is.
It is.
But
it is. You're right. Go ahead.
But if you go at you know, a target saying, I can do this, and even and if you keep telling yourself I can do this, even if your subconscious doesn't believe it, eventually it'll get the hint, and you'll flip, and you'll find out how to do it. You'll find the people, you'll find the tool, there'll be a conversation in a coffee shop you'll overhear. Something will lead you to the information you need.
You're exactly right. And he made a good thought here. Everybody knows we have a conscious and a subconscious. Now, your subconscious is, you know, a lot of times it's out of touch of all of us. Our conscience makes the decisions. But when you say something, you don't really remember saying it, or you say it quickly without thinking about it, that's your subconscious. And when it says things like, I'm going to be rich, or I'm doing great today, believe it or not, that's the best thing that can happen to you. So instill in your conscious mind motivation, knock people down. And I don't mean that in real terms. I'm just saying, when you're writing your book, just think, I'm going to be the best. No one's going to stop me, and no one can do this but me. It really makes a difference. Someone made a good point here too, Percy, just recently, and I didn't know that, but someone just said, your book is copyrighted the minute you write it. You don't have to do anything. No one can copy, publish, or work without permission. And of course, like I said earlier, trademark is another matter. Trademark, you need a year, but you can get a quick trademark if no one has your trademark. That's with logos, names, things like that. But that's a good point. So I didn't know if you knew that or not either, Percy. I didn't know that really.
I kind of remember someone saying that on a seminar I was once on. So I've always put a copyright thing in it to begin with. So
yeah, and people are saying there's 3 types of copyright. There's common law 2, common law 3. It's only a registered copyright in this Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that difficult for your. I guess it's
So
automatic.
it's
So that's
automatic.
cool. Cool. And Percy, this is another thing I like. Right, what you did. Look at this, everybody. He goes the next step. So he's prepping us to go after the introduction. This is smart. And then he puts his name here, and he has his domain, which is his name, percybar.com, and it's clickable. And that was really smart. A lot of people wouldn't do that, but what Percy's doing is he is trademarking himself. He's branding himself. Very, very good here. I like that. Did a great job.
Thank you.
And you did the highlight here with the WYSIWYG. You just copied this
Yep.
and did the background.
That was part of the template,
Oh, was that part
which
of
is
the
why,
template?
yeah,
Okay.
which is why percybar.com is so small, because I wanted it to be in the gray. I couldn't expand the gray into the template.
Ah, it looks good. Looks
So,
real good. I want to be able to find mistakes you're making. So what are you doing? You're almost too good. You're almost too.
well, I got to do one more edit on it just to make sure everything's cool, and then we'll be putting it up on the site, I think.
Oh, I found something. And I'm just being picky. Just move your picture a little bit to the left. Oh,
That actually is already corrected.
oh, is it?
Yeah, I been working on it this week.
Looks good, man. Looks good. Okay, now we're down here. I like the picture. And this Sqribble will do this with the picture. It will round your picture off right here.
Mhm.
So that's good. And I like the way, of course, I always like picture, like left or right, and then the content left or right, go back and forth. It's really good. And this is kind of different here. Look what Percy did, the formatting of this page. I want you guys to look at it. And this is something that I see right off the bat. He did the picture left. He did the content right. Then he did his headline right here. Is this book for you? It's a question. And that really is good. Let's ask the people. People love questions. And then he has happiness and that. And then he has his bullet points right here, or not his bullet points, but his mini headlines. It's kind of here. And then he goes to the bullets. And this is really cool. I like the way you formatted this. Did this take you a while to kind of think this through?
Yeah, it took me the bullet points themselves. That's my language, anyways. So that was easy. Getting them lined up in Sqribble, I'll tell you, that was pretty frustrating. I think I exported it to PDF probably about 15 times to get all them to line up correctly. And even then, you can see that relationship on the last line is just a little bit off. But
Again, I can't even really see it here. Oh, I see where it says know where to start.
Yeah, and I can't get it over one. If I bring it back one space, it's noticeable. So I'm leaving it where it is.
And you know what? A lot of times that might you know what that might be. And I've seen this before too. Right where it says change but don't right here.
Mm-hmm.
Erase this. Just take that out, backspace it, and then rewrite it starting from here. Because if you copied and paste from Word or another page, the formatting, the HTML going to another HTML sometimes doesn't line up.
Yeah. The other advantage, the other thing you can do is when you copy this from, because I've done this in Word first of all,
Okay.
and then I've copied it over. If you paste in text as opposed to a Word document to try and get rid of all the HTML you can, that's also beneficial.
And that's what I do. And he just made a good point. And I want to show people that, like Percy was saying, he uses Word. I use Notepad a lot because Notepad doesn't have HTML code. And for a lot of you that don't understand HTML and Notepad, HTML is for web pages, and it has the code behind it, like Word. Basically, you can colorize it. You can change the fonts large or small and do all that. Notepad is very basic. It's static. Once you put the text there, you can't change the color, but there's no HTML. So when you copy from text or Notepad to a document like you're looking at now, it won't blow up on you. Right, Percy, basically?
That's correct. Yeah, Notepad's a basic editor.
Yeah.
So you can do that, and that's another way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I like to, I use Notepad a lot, more than I should actually, Percy.
The other thing you could do is, if you had this, for example, in Word, is you can save it as a text file
Yes, you
and then
can.
copy all the data from there, and you should get that should eliminate 99.9% of the HTML.
Right. I think this is probably an HTML thing, don't you think? Or
It is.
it is. Okay. So that's a simple fix. So any of you that have a problem when you're copy and pasting or doing whatever, just remember, put it in Notepad and then save it and then copy and paste it over into here.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, we're going to go back to the next one. So we're on page 2. We're going to go to page 3. Let's look at this one here. Okay. Are you currently several situations? Don't worry. Okay. Now this one, there's something that I'm thinking you could do to change this up a little bit. And this is just my own personal opinion, people. This is not something that I'm saying that's bad. Everything looks really good. Maybe what I would do, though, is split this up, move the picture up and take half the content and put it below the picture. That way, maybe it's changing up because you got a lot of content here to read, then you got the picture. Whereas if you broke it up, personally, I would read it and then I'd go below the picture and read again. I'm very visual. Pictures to me sell the content. I don't know what it is, but it certainly does. But this is good.
I think you'll notice in this document, I try to put a picture at the end of each chapter to separate it from the next chapter. So
is that what you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, that's smart. Okay, I didn't look below. So
no, it's fair.
No, my apologies. That makes sense. That's good. Okay, so we're done with the first chapter, and we're going to go down a little bit lower here. And what does a fresh start mean? Now, this picture is pretty good because it really does make you think. It's a good hook picture. It's kind of hiding out and trying to figure out what you're going to do next, kind of, in many ways. Okay, starting anew involves developing a mindset that comes with you and spills into every area of your life. It involves changing traits, behaviors, limiting or you no longer serving you. We call these traits and behavior habits. Now, this is good content, people. This is a book that everybody should read. It really is. It's pretty good. It's actually, from what I'm reading and seeing, it looks great. Adopting new behavior or skills that will allow you to bounce back stronger than before and allow you to become your best possible self. Now, Percy makes a good point here, and I always try to help people with things that I've done. Don't ever look back to yesterday because yesterday is gone. Always look ahead, look into the future. I mean, if you want to go back and think that, you can, but personally, if you look ahead and everything that you're doing today is new, I think you'll be better off than thinking about yesterday on a lot of things. Is that true?
You're looking into the past should be used for lessons, not for beating yourself up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like complaining about the baseball game that's already played, right? It's over. Like, move on.
Yeah, you can't do anything with it from there.
Yeah.
You can't change the score. Exactly. By choosing to read this book, you've already taken a courageous first step. I like it. And once again, his name is clickable, percybarr.com, so that's great. Being prepared to make significant changes. Good picture. Very good picture here. Do you have Snagit? Do you resize them pretty much, or do you just bring them in the size they are?
No, I bring them in the size they are, and then I used Sqribble to get them down to be in the page.
Wonderful.
So
you change the pixels. The pixels.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good deal. Okay. So we're going down. You guys see this? We're going down to, and is this the end of another chapter?
That's correct.
Okay, good. So you can see here, it started a new one. It's a 2-page. Go into this. Good. Okay, create a future self. Let me see what this says here. Now, I like this. Very good. You got the picture. And this is kind of cool. You put the picture, you didn't center it, and it looks great. You put it down a little bit lower, it ends the page. This looks really good. So let me see what you have here. Creating your future self. You guys see what Percy did a lot? He spaced his sentences. And that's not a bad idea. And then here, he didn't. Here, it's regular paragraphs, more or less. But here, it's kind of like bullet points and hooks. And it's just kind of like, this is what you need to do. So right here, your first step is to begin forming a mental picture of yourself that's a standalone. And then he starts creating the future itself and not faking it until you make it. That's another standalone. And he keeps going down further and further. And this is good because every sentence stops and you think about it. It might take some research to determine your actions. Let's say your future self is more purposeful and decisive, so on and so forth. I like that. I like that a lot. And then you got into here where you're, it's effective, proven techniques. And have you ever written a self-help book before, or is this your first one?
I think this is my second. I did another book a couple years ago and actually put it up on Kindle with another gentleman. But did. I think we're probably going to take that down. It's not reflective of where I am today.
It changes up, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, life does change up. Okay, so
I've corrected the space between that last paragraph and the next, that one right there.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that, but I didn't want to be too picky. Thank you for telling me. Cool.
No, I prefer if you were.
Okay.
Because I've been through this a couple times, so I want to make sure that we get everything.
No, it looks good. I like it. The goal of creating a future self is gradually to ease out of your present self and into your new self, which already exists within you. And that's a really good line right there for all of us. And think about that. Let's read it again. The goal of creating a future self is to gradually ease out of your present self. Now, that's similar to what we just spoke of, everybody. Everybody that's out there, if you've been really successful online or haven't been successful online, it's a mindset. And any one of you can leapfrog over the next person the next day. Like I've said before, I've been in this business for well over 20 years, and we've been broke as you can possibly believe, and we've made millions. And we have. And then like I said, and we have been broke. We have been rich. So it just depends on how much work you put into yourself and what you're doing. And just going back to some of the things that I did when I did programming and things like that, we wrote content and we rewrote it, and we'd spend days and hours, and 2 or 3 in the morning, we wouldn't quit. And then we'd finally go home at 4, and we'd be back in the office by 8. And after a while, you do hit it. Every single time, if you put the work in, you will hit it, but you have to keep going. You just have to kind of reinvent yourself. And you guys really, if you guys need some help on how to sell to businesses or some of the techniques that I've used or some of the techniques other people have used, I think we should all bring it to the table, because it's very important that people just get up and start working harder to push what you're doing. Because a lot of you that are on this call, you guys are writers or want to be writers, or you have it in your head. So please, every week too, if you guys can, like Percy did here and some of the other people, send your ebook in. If it's 1 page, 2 page, 20 pages, send it in, because all we can do is help you. And don't don't ever be shy or embarrassed, or there's nothing to be embarrassed or shy about. And Percy, when you sent this here, I can see you had no fear whatsoever. Nothing, right?
No, not about this.
No. And he spent a lot of work. Now, you may not have a book that's as clean and as good as this one. That's okay. It will get there. It will get there very quickly. But and people, just please, I really ask you, send in some of your content if you can. If you haven't written any, you can't send it in, but do what you can. It's really, really important. I've already sold a couple books, but mine were, they were more or less work manuals for different companies to do what they're doing. But I'm always thinking and always doing different things. I'm actually writing some content right now for a company, once again, and I'm helping them manage some of their products that they have, and they've asked me to write content and do some advertising for them online. So that's one thing. As I go forward a little bit further in it, I'll kind of touch base with you guys what I've done, and we'll go forward from there. But love your stuff. So I'm going to go down to the next page. Find a role model. Create your alter ego by drawing a role model that you admire or someone who inspires you. Okay, we all have all these people online, like from the Tony Robbins to who inspires you, Percy? Who's one of your inspirations on some of the stuff out there?
Well, I'm older, so I got a lot of Jim Rohn stuff. I've got a lot of Les Brown. Uh, Bob Proctor was always somebody I was very
Bob
interested in.
Proctor. Oh, Bob Proctor is wonderful. He just passed away, didn't he?
Yes, in January, I believe.
I want you guys
yeah.
to write down Bob Proctor if you guys can, and I'll put it in there, and go to YouTube and listen to this guy. What a great guy, and what information. And don't listen to one or two. Listen to many people, because everybody has a different opinion, and you'll get something out of a lot of people. Am I correct about that?
There's a couple early videos of him. I think they're called Born Rich, and it's like a 12-part series. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. And he's pulled a lot of Napoleon Hill stuff together. And he worked for the Conet organization, the tape plays people.
Mm-hmm.
If those of you remember the tapes and CDs we used to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty good. Those are the people I look to. I have actually gone to Tony Robbins quite heavily with the. I had his tape set.
We all
Unlimited
did.
Power.
20 years ago we had Tony. Yeah,
and I actually signed up for his UPW event in July, which is a virtual event.
Cool.
It's one of the Actually, I didn't want the event. I wanted the freebies that came with the ticket. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Tony has been one of my fail safes, but he's not the guy I listened to in the last several years. It's the Bob Proctors and all the other people. And just a kind of a word of wisdom, you mentioned Les Brown. Les Brown is a good friend of mine. I've known Les for well over 20 years. Haven't spoke to him for the last 3 or 4 years, but we used to talk every week. And what a voice.
If you ever get a chance to talk to him,
yes,
then pass on my thanks for all the work that he's done with not only in helping people, but also the work he's done with teenagers on the side that you don't hear anything about. He's been an amazing role model for a lot of people.
He's got a heart of gold, and he's got a voice that can, turn a volcano inside out. He's got that deep, domineering voice. What a great man. He truly is.
So I would encourage everyone to go and find a couple of these speakers and actually start listening to them on YouTube. Just 1 or 2 a week, and you'd be surprised at how you pick up the teaching that they're talking. If you're looking for somebody who's a little bit younger, the Brendan Burchards of the world, that's also one of the newer guys that's up and coming.
That's really cool. And don't take this wrong, people, because I'm not going to get into the religious format here, but I do want to say something. A lot of the speakers here took a lot of their stuff and took what the fundamentals of what's in the Bible or religious scripts or whatever, and they took it. And tell me if I'm wrong, Percy. And they found a way to make it more mainstream. And actually, it's true. It's not just, when you think, oh, they're getting religious on me, or it's all about the Bible, blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's a mindset. And it's pretty much like it's in you to change and make the changes. I'm not
here to, I don't think either of us are here to convert anybody.
No.
So let's get that on the plate.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you, if you read through the book of Proverbs, there's actually not much religion in that. It's actually practical ways that the average person can take on their finances and their careers and make them shine. And those rules work for everybody, whether you believe the rest of the book or not.
Yeah, you made a good point. And I've always said that because sometimes religion scares people. And I'm the last person that would be the heavy religious sector, but I'm also the first person on board too. I'm not under religious. I'm not over religious. I am what I am. That sounds kind of cliche there, but yeah, just it's all positive within your own head, guys. It truly is. And you make the changes yourself. Nobody can do it for you. And that's what I'm saying about business and what you're doing online in your ebook. Don't wait for someone to do it for you. Take control. Don't, like I always say, don't look left or right. Just go full steam ahead and start producing. And if your content stinks, if it sucks and it's bad and it's terrible, it may be good to somebody else. Just write it down, put it in there. And how many times do you have to rewrite something, Percy, when you're doing your books? Do you go back in?
I'll probably go by it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
And so I'll rewrite it, and then I'll let it cook for a couple days, and then I'll go back and reread it, and do that a couple times, because sometimes the sentences don't make any sense. I used to have a product that did text to convert to speech, and I would put the book in that and actually listen to it, and then I would catch most of the English errors with that too.
That's a great point. And next week, everybody, we're going to get into Talkable. And what Percy just said is kind of ahead of the game here. I use text to speech with several programs, and when you do listen to it, you have to remember to put commas in, because when you do text to speech, you'll run on. Won't you run on if you're not going back there and you're editing and you're putting commas in, Percy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So my biggest tool is not only the editor that you choose, but also a product called Grammarly. It connects a lot of the bad English. Like if my English teachers saw what I was writing now, they'd say, "Who is it?" Because it sure doesn't reflect the grades I had in school.
I think you and I were sitting next to each other in school. Same as me.
I made the top half of the class possible.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. But today you're much better. You're much better. And what I like about the book too, you guys, it kind of reminds me of how Apple advertises. Everything's white and gray, and it's kind of a slick, beautiful way to do things. And this is what you did with the book. It's just really nice. It just goes together really nice. And I don't do books like this a lot. I do a lot of colors and a lot of things like that. So you've changed my thinking here, Percy. Definitely.
Yeah, and I did not change the colors on the default template. These are the colors that came with the template, and so I stuck with that color scheme, and just went with it.
And in Sqribble, you guys, and he made a good point. You see the gray over here to the left. You see the gray to the right. There's a place within the system, and I'm sure you know this, Percy, where you can change it. Maybe you don't, from light to dark.
Yep.
There's a place where you can change that up, but that looks good. That looks good.
Well, I think the gray highlights the book at this point. So
gray goes well with a lot of things. It's one of those colors that fits right in. It blends really well. And I like this sentence here, you guys, where it says, borrow, don't mimic. And you don't become a copy of your chosen role model or mimic their dress, speech, or gestures. The goal isn't to become a clone of someone else, but to develop your unique future self. Your identity, okay, you got to put your on this one, I think. Yeah. So that's not your identity, your identity, the quality you adopt.
I got to rework that sentence.
No problem. Future self, a better version of the current you and not somebody else. And this is a good point. I've always said this, you guys. The inventor doesn't always make the money. It's the person that comes and takes the ideas of the inventor, reworks it, that makes the money a lot of the times out there. Or they'll take an idea and run with it and invent a little bit more with it. And that's that's kind of what I see in a lot of things. How about you, Percy? Do you see people take other people's ideas but make them better quite a bit? And sometimes they're the ones who make all the money?
Yeah. The people who can take the idea and make it unique to them so that they can live within their value system to actually use the model, those are the ones that are very successful. The ones that aren't successful are the ones who take the model and just try to do it A for A, B for B, C for C. So they don't think it through and make it their own.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And do you ever, Percy, let me ask you this. Do you ever kind of go to the far side? I'm not saying dark side. I'm saying far side, where sometimes you want to push the limit and say something where someone else wouldn't say it, or put something else there that's kind of unique. Do you strive for that?
Well, I'm working to be a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I will, with my existing clients, I will say things that I would not say if these people were my friends as opposed to my clients, because they need to hear what I have to tell them, because they're not hearing it. They're not getting the truth from their friends. They're not getting it from their bosses or their clients. So that's my job, is to kind of ruffle their feathers a bit and get them to think of themselves differently. And make them aware of where the blocks are, right?
You just said it, and you got to deep dive. You have to deep dive into your brain. And I always tell people, whether you grew up rich or whether you grew up poor, I always say don't look at yesterday, because today is a new day. And if you grew up, just say middle class, whatever, you can be whatever you want. And it always sounds cliche, but it's very true. Les Brown, we spoke about him earlier. He's a huge motivator, has been for many, many years. I've spoken to Les hundreds of times, and we've spoke where we're just buddies, and we would talk, and it was weird, because he would motivate me in so many different ways, and I'd motivate him in ways that I didn't know, because I was a programmer at the time, and I was just a person, writing different software that he would use. And, he was 100 times better than I ever could be. But it was fun when I think back, Percy, on all those times that I spoke to Les Brown, like it was, I mean, he's big, he's huge, but I spoke to him as a friend, never as asking for information. So it was very unique.
How many times did he tell you you have greatness within you?
I think every call.
Every call.
I think every call, somewhere in the field, he would always say that. He would always say that. But he was a motivator, and he was a great person. I didn't know some of the stuff you're talking about, so giving back always means a lot to me. It really does, because, and when you think you want to, and this is the way you guys should think. Don't ever ask for something. Never ask for something. Don't ask, I want to be rich. Don't ask, I want this, I want that. Know that you want it. Just know. And your best feelings come from your heart, not from your mind. When it hits into your subconscious and you know something, that's when it comes, your best projects or your best, everything comes from your heart. And I know that sounds weird, but it's true. You guys, and me too, and Percy, I don't know if it's the same with you, but your subconscious, when you say something and you don't know you're going to say it out of quickness, it comes true a lot of times. I don't know. I mean, does it do it for you?
Yeah, a lot of times. Like you're predicting the future before it happens. But most of us are working in rote. Like 90% of what we do is basically a subroutine that just goes off automatically. So we have to really catch ourselves and to develop that new story within us.
And you sound a little bit more stable than me. So as a little more twisted person, going to a little bit more wise person. Now let's piece this together for our group here. We got a lot of people on the line here. If you had to tell people two things, what they should do when they're writing books, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask you another question, but when they're writing books, what do you think are the two main things people should focus on?
Well, automatically, I would say you have to think of your client, who's going to read this.
Okay.
And then you have to be true to yourself. Like, don't put stuff in the books just because it happens to be in a Tony Robbins book or a Bob Proctor book. You have to believe what you're going to write here, because at some point, someone's going to come back and he's going to ask you the question. Okay. So you need to be able to believe this. And so if you and also when you're writing, if you don't believe it, it'll come through in the text. So
what if you're writing a Harry Potter book or something a little crazy?
Okay, so even if you're writing fiction, you have to have the image in your head. I mean, Picasso is noted for his paintings, but the reality is there are no originals. He thought this through in his head. He knew exactly. So he's actually copying what he's got in his mind and putting it on the canvas. So
you just made a good point. So they draw the picture in their head, in their mind,
as they see it.
As they see it. That's a good point, Percy. That's a really good point.
So, I mean, I might be blowing smoke here, but that's the way I feel about it.
No, you're not blowing smoke, and you need to say what you need to say, and I believe you're right. And like I said, and sometimes when you write that great American novel, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, if it's fiction, and you want to throw some characters in there and you want to do something really wild, you have to do something different than the last guy. And that's what Percy said in some of his text right here in his book. Don't copy someone, visualize it and go the extra mile, everybody. Do a little something. And just remember this, in a lot of books, and I know this, there's always three, in the big famous books, there's usually 3 people that are the main group. And then there could be another set of 3 and another set of 3. But why do they do that, Percy? What's your thought? Why do they usually go in 3s, like Harry Potter and then Hunger Games or whatever it was? They just kept going.
It's a classic example. You always have a victim who turns into a hero who goes on a story, and for those things to happen, they need supporting casts and they need someone who's actually against them. So you need a conflict, and usually that's people.
Good
right?
point.
So that's usually why there's 3. I think those are the 3 standards.
That's true. That's very true. So let me ask a question to the people out there. How many of you are stuck writing a book right now? If you guys can just give me a yes or no, I would appreciate it. Just tell me if you're starting to write a book or even started one right now. Let me know, everybody, if you can. Or what's your biggest hang-up? If you guys can, that would be great. I want to wake everybody up here. We've been on for a while. Yes, okay, yep. Writing another one. Stuck on the plot. Okay, Donna, go, baby, go. Stuck on the plot. Okay, stuck getting started. Luann, that's a lot of it. And for Luann, real quick, what I want to say is if you're stuck getting started, I'm going to let Percy take this one over. I could tell you what I think, but what do you think, Percy? I mean, I'm since I got you on here, I'm going to kind of, have you start up.
Use me up?
Yeah, I'm going to use you up.
So what's interesting is I actually did an exam last night on clearing. So one of the things that one of the topics is how do you clear somebody from a blockage, and if you have a book idea, I'd like you to spend some time in your favorite chair, just relax a bit, and I want you to think as though the book's already written. So you're going into your future and then you're remembering to the past. So, you visualize it like you've got it in your hand. So what do you think is on the cover? What do you see on the cover? What color is the title? Open it up and look at the chapters and try to look at it from that point of view. And then take those thoughts that come into your mind as to what those are and write them down and use those as maybe chapters or ideas or plot lines. And
so kind of outline it.
Kind of outline it that way. That's very helpful. A lot of times I'll just sit down and I'll start with a pencil and paper and I'll actually not at the computer. I like these old things called pencils. And I'll write write a chapter. I'll get an idea. I'll do it an outline. One of the easiest ways to do stuff because I've done some stuff that's not private label rights. One of the methods I do is I use a 10-10 method. I'll get 10 chapters with 10 topics, and I'll write out the 10 chapter titles, and then I'll write out what those 10 chapters should. The points in those, and they're usually, I try to work until I get 10, and by then you've got enough of the outline that you can actually write the book.
You're right, and that's kind of how I do it too. I try to get my chapter headlines going more or less, and then I go in and dig in from there, and then I'll change the chapter titles, of course, several times, and we'll go from there. I do have a person on that is saying they're stuck on the last couple chapters, for that one. So I think what you just said is outline and if you have to re-outline, that's what I would do, and then write some bullet points within each chapter. But don't, the final chapters of your book are so important because you don't want to do it wrong or mess it up. Am I correct about that?
So if you're writing a fictional book, then outline how the last chapter actually looks. Where's your character going to end up? What do you think the conclusion should be? And then just get from where you've written to that point, right? How do you get to those? How do you make that leap?
And I just got somebody who just came on here, and I gotta hand it to them. And I'm just gonna say the first name, Lynn. I like Lynn's attitude. Stop worrying about it. Just pretty much take the jump and run. Do it.
Yeah.
Trust the process and go naturally. And that's kind of how I do it too. Is just don't look back. Just do it.
Just because you write the chapter doesn't mean it has to be in the final book. So really, you're not writing a book. You're just writing an outline that gets to the book with a lot of detail.
That's
true. The editing will take care of all the rest of the stuff. So don't worry about it.
So write your 3 chapters basically, and then dig back, go back, and go back, and edit, and add to and subtract.
And nobody's going to see it unless you let them. So don't be worried about it. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And some people here say they use PLR, the content that's always written for them, and then they can rewrite it. Why reinvent the wheel? And I never use PLR personally. Some people do though, and it works. I mean, do you use it yourself, Percy?
Oh yeah. I have more PLR that's collecting digital dust on my drive than most people.
I did too at one time. I did too.
But I'm looking for outlines. I'm looking for like the person who's trying to finish the book. That's what I'm trying to get is give me the outline, and that's the rough map, but it's not the territory. So I'll put the colors and the trees and the valleys and the streams into it. But as long as I have a map that I know I have to get from A to B, then it's not so hard.
And that's a good point. So you kind of have the outline already there, and then you dig in deeper, basically.
Yeah, I use the PLR as the outline.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, well, I'm going to step back down into the book. We're going to go through this. We've been talking a lot, but I hope everybody.
It's going to be 10 o'clock before we finish if we don't get at this.
No, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. I'm going to blow through some of this. Okay, so we're at the next page, page 9. Stay alert in your thought process. Continue practice. Okay, I like this. You can pull your picture down just a little bit here to align to this set, of course. Nothing major. This is good in the middle. I like what you did with you turn this and the picture you have. I feel like making dreams. The bottom line. You see what Percy did here? I like his titles here, his headlines. Start stepping into your alter ego. The next page, it says the bottom line. This is good stuff, you guys. So go back to this video and take a lot of the information that Percy's given us here. It's really some great ideas. Become a minimalist thinker. Very good point. Oop, I kind of went down a little bit too far.
I think you got one page above that. Yeah.
It will have what? Oh, yeah. Okay, right there. Okay. Something is like jumping on my page here. Okay, here we go. I see this. Before minimalism. And this is something you mentioned earlier. Is not a crazy fad, but the lifestyle around you. We are not talking about the type of minimalist. Instead, our focus is on minimalist thinking. We're getting rid of goals or thoughts that no longer serve us. Okay, that makes sense. So don't think of the old school, so to speak.
Yeah, living with a chair and a table. That's not me.
That's true. You have to dive into the new era on how things are done nowadays with all the communications and the new ways we can do things, actually.
And with this chapter, because I did so much rewriting, I actually had to bring in a bunch of my own experiences. For example, that's a picture of one of my first cars.
Oh, really?
Back in the 80s. and the story goes on to talk about myself being with a good buddy of mine who restores cars, and he suggested that I get back into this. And so, I talked through in this story about, what was my thinking process and how this thought that was just thrown into my head about getting another Mustang basically derailed me for about 2 weeks, until I realized that I actually don't want another Mustang. I want the feeling of the ride, but I can get that with my Datsun or my Nissan.
So you want to go back to the past for the feeling.
Yeah.
Which is happy thoughts, right? From those years.
Yeah. The rumble of the car and the shaking of the 351 Cleveland in the front. Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, I remember that all too well. My best friend had the same car. Yeah. Jumping railroad tracks when you were a kid. I mean, you were stupid enough to do that, but it did happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go on down. The idea was planted in my mind like a seed. Okay, come back down here. So you're kind of implementing the car thing and kind of from start to finish.
Yeah.
And okay, brings clarity. You save time, money, and energy. Okay, I want to read this real quick. It says, you'll be pleasantly surprised by how much money you save. Buy and less. Using minimums think frees up time and money as you remove those items that no longer serve you. Okay, and I think what Percy's saying here, don't waste time with too many things on your mind. Try to minimalize things and start blowing through it. Kind of like what Lynn said earlier, just stop thinking too much and go forward and just start writing, start doing. Am I incorrect about that, Percy?
Yep.
Okay, minimalist thinking. Okay, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Yeah, that's a good point right there. So that's pretty much saying it all right there. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. And what do they mean by that, Percy? I know what you're saying, but you can say it.
So if you're trying to work on 3 major projects, or 4 or 5 or 10 projects, which most of us are, you actually have no priorities in those. So you're working on too many stuff. You can't get enough time to put into an existing project to actually make it go forward. So I mean, you're kicking a lot of cans, but they're not getting too far down the street.
They're thinking too much. They've got too much in their workspace, basically. Good point. Good point. Well, I love the book. Now, this is a great page, everybody. It looks really good. Dress for success, of course. Get a new hairstyle, fashion style, experiment with makeup and jewelry, get fit. And this is so true. If you look good, you feel good. And it makes sense. And it's like when you wash your car after it's been dirty through a Canadian winter. You wash that car and you swear to God that car runs better. It's always that way. Always seems to be that way. Okay, well, we have so much. I'm just going to kind of go through it because we're kind of finishing off here. So let me see what we have. Frequently urge your goals. Hang on one second. It all looks so good. Realign yourself, following questions. Okay, I like this where you put your domain right here. That looks good.
Yeah. So I have a second sheet called the Goal Clarification Worksheet.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a link to that sheet.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, let me see what else we have. Certifications of degrees you need skills to acquire, saving the sum of money for capital. Yeah, it doesn't cost a lot to do the ebook either, people. It's a lot of your brain that you can do to get this started. Set goals. That's very important. I like that. Bottom line, your goals should be clearly defined and laid out in writing. It's so good to put your goals in writing because if you don't, you guys, you will forget them. Write down your thoughts. It's always a good point. Self-reflect on solitude. Why I'm seeking to start anew. The bottom line. It all looks good. Managing your finances. You put it all in here, Percy.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Yeah.
You didn't stop at all. Okay, save money, go that route, create a budget. Good stuff. You did a lot of pages here. Curb your
Yeah,
spending.
there's 34 in total.
34 pages?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna blow through some of this because we're getting late. Create an emergency fund, get out of debt. This is good. So are you charging for this book?
No, this is a freebie.
Okay, maybe what we can do is we can have it uploaded in one of the areas so people could look at it.
Yeah, I would gladly send this to anybody who wants it on this call.
If you're okay with it, then maybe I'll try to upload it so people can reuse this and see it. I think it would be very, very wise. And I like this. You use the same picture twice. You may want to, I don't know if you want to use the same picture twice. That's up to you, but I don't know if I would.
I didn't plan on that. It just happened to be that one that got selected.
So you only have that one. Okay, that's good.
The other one is in a circle. That one's in a square, so they're not quite the same, but that's not.
Not a big deal. Yeah. By the time they get down there, they won't even notice it. Have strong support. You're the average of 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is great, you guys. So we really want you guys to get on. This is one thing I would do is homework assignment that I'm going to give you guys. Go to YouTube and put in something like personal wellness, or put in something that's self-help or something. And I'm not going crazy on you here. Go to someone you would normally go to for advice. But go in there and just listen to tidbits. You're going to find one like the old Napoleon Hills, or, Napoleon Hill, Percy, of course, and some of the old ones that go way back. They have great information. And these go back into the 20s, but it's mindset. It truly is mindset. It's how you feel about life. The more positive you are, the more your life will reflect that. And this is a true fact. If you guys feel good about yourself and you create this aura that people like you and you're really liked and people love you and blah, 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 it happens. It truly happens. People start coming around you and start seeing you, and it's amazing how your mindset really does reflect around you. So, so what I would do, everybody, is just try and just get as positive as you can and get started. So all of you guys, please send in something here that, send in an ebook if you guys can to kevin@smartmails.com. I'm going to put that in here. So hang on a second. And Percy, you did a great, great job. I have to give you a AAA really on everything you've done.
So go down to the last page.
Okay, I'm going to get down there.
That's a bit different than what's in the templates.
Okay, let's go down to it real quick. Keep going down, of course, right?
Yep.
Okay, I like this picture. Onboard, mentor, start, ignite, and then, oh, that's good. What to expect, 60 to 90 days. You're saying you can expect gradual changes. 2009 study, 90 participants. It took 12 weeks to develop a new habit. That's a good point. So a new habit takes 12 weeks to develop. I want you guys I want you guys to break records. Let's do it in 11. Let's see if we can. Change is daunting. Okay. Keep going. And there's Percy. Yeah, baby. Yep. That looks good, Percy. I never saw this. Okay.
So one thing I'd like to do on this is actually, I don't have the percybar.com as a link. Mm-hmm. So I haven't done that. That's what else I would do, but it's kind of like the advertisement you'd find on the back of a standard book. You'd find it Chapters or Indigo or Barnes and Noble or wherever, right?
That looks good. That's smart. So this is good information for all of us. So this is on the very inside of the back, or the back cover.
The back cover, yeah.
Beautiful. This is good. So this is something I'm going to try, you guys. You want to put your pearly whites on there and put yourself on the back of the cover. This is a good template right in here. Very nice, Percy. Very nice. And then, like you said, you didn't put your link on here. I don't know if you would or not.
Yeah, I would if I will when I finish it up. Yeah.
Well, everybody, if we had to give Percy a scale of 1 to 10, show me what you guys think his book is right now. Yeah. Oh, Abraham Hicks. Someone just mentioned her also.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Nancy. Good idea. A 10, a 20, a 15, a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10. Someone gave you a 2. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Everybody's giving you
I
15.
thought it was out of 100, so I'm
Oh yeah. So you suck. Now you're really
yeah.
bad. Now you're terrible.
No.
No, everybody. I'm really happy that Percy sent this in. He gave me a lot of information. I'm going to copy on a lot of your stuff, Percy. You gave me some ideas that I'm going to use in my book. Um, you really have some great techniques, Percy. So I thank
Thank
you
you.
for being on. And had to come from a Canadian. Who would have thought? My gosh. No, we love you
So
guys.
you mentioned a couple things in the last couple sessions that I'd like to kind of put your focus on.
Okay.
And one is a list of users who actually have books up and actually have sites up, so that we can leave reviews on behalf and try to drive some SEO traffic to those things. So that if we could get
we can get
some
a group going together where we can start getting the links or know where to go, and we can start leaving reviews for each other. Great comeback.
my suggestion would be to try and get a membership area where we can have those addresses so they're not out to the public, but that we can go through as members of Sqribble and see what other people have done and review them.
Exactly. So let's go back to what Percy just said. People, if you wrote a book, let us know where the link is, what the name of the book is, and send it to me at my email address that I sent you guys. We need to get the membership group going where we're going to go in there and say, buy a book, or we're going to give you a review. We're going to go back and do that. And people were asking, let me see what else someone said something to you, Percy. They just said it looks great, Percy. Everybody's saying 100%. Fantastic. Oh, what's the name of your book, Percy?
Fresh Start.
Fresh Start. That's what I thought. It was at the very top. I'm going to go all the way back up to the top. And that's what we have, Fresh Start. So we're going to see this. So Percy, if you can, send me your link or whatever information, and I'll have you be the starting point beside some of my books, and then we'll start getting the group started. That's the only way you can start something, folks. And this is what I've learned throughout life. You start out with one thing, and then then it goes to 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And that's how it works. So Percy, you and I will be the start of this. If that's cool with you, we'll do that.
That's great. And the other thing that, so you'd always give yourself a challenge at the end. And one of the things you mentioned is to go through a book like this and leave a small YouTube video for each of the chapters, so that people can find it and then work through it, so that also the members can comment on it and drive some YouTube traffic. So that'll be the next thing, is to create a slideshow for each of these chapters and put it up on YouTube.
That's what you're going to do?
Yeah, I think so. And
that's a great idea.
That's a way to drive the traffic to my site.
And see, folks, this is similar to what I just made, those 5 to 7 minute videos, which I want you all to go look at those videos. But basically, I just used Snagit. I was able to see where I'm circling Fresh Start. All I got to do is within a second, I could capture this, start talking about it. I could scroll down while it's recording and Snagit, and I could do a quick 2-minute video, and then we can upload to YouTube. That's free. And this is what Percy's saying right now. Great idea, because then you're building content in YouTube, and YouTube gets more traffic than anybody but Google. That is a wonderful, great idea. What a fresh start.
And yeah. And the more people you have commented on the video to say, hey, that was good, or gee, that was helpful, or I wish I had done that, or something like that, or hey, I have a question about such and such. That drives the YouTube algorithm to put it in more people's list. So that would be a great thing to do.
I think you're right. I think the best way to advertise is YouTube. I've always thought that. And I think that's the best way. So each chapter, you could have 20 little videos, which would take you could do this all in a day.
Yeah, you could do all the video in a day, and then you leak them out over 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
So that you can always have something new. Then when I finish the paid for book, I'll do the same, but not to the same level of information, so that I mean, they have something to buy. But the thing I was thinking earlier when you were talking, Kevin, is that you were saying that there are people who can write and there's people who can't write. The reality is there's people who will listen to you who will not listen to anyone else. So you have each of us have a message to get out for the topic that we're working on. And there's people who like the lady last week who was doing the carvings. There's people who would say, well, gee, I can buy carving books anywhere. But the reality is there's tons of people out there who will only listen to her because she speaks their language. She resonates with them, and those are her clients. And thank goodness she wrote the book and got it out there so that people can see it.
You're exactly right. She had the depth within her own mind, and she was the only one that could edify that. No, I couldn't even try or begin to, but you're right. So we need to, I'm going to figure something out here too, everybody. We're going to try to see what we can do. Get our books on YouTube with mini videos. That is a good thing we need to teach you guys. So I'm going to do a video on that also, how to create your YouTube videos. But my advice is get capture software. Do you have capture software, Percy?
I do.
Okay.
I've got a couple pieces of software that I use. First of all, I use just the cut and paste from Windows that does a lot of the stuff that I need to do. But I also have some editing software that will capture screen. So and Screencast-O-Matic is also a product that I have to do videos.
Oh yeah.
And reviews.
Yep.
So
you do need capture software if you really want to hit the videos fast, quick, and furious. And remember, Snagit, someone just told us, I think it was Yvonne, said something earlier, I think it was, Snagit is free for 14 days. Go use it. You guys will love it.
And they're the people who make Camtasia.
Camtasia, yep.
So there's lots of skill set in Camtasia, and I'm sure that Snagit has got a lot of those features in that just at a lower price.
Oh my gosh, I think I've had Camtasia 15 years. I think I got the first version, which is really outdated by now. So, well, good. Thank you, Percy. You've done a great job with your ebook. I thank everybody for being on the call tonight. It's called Snagit, Lynn. It's called Snagit. I'm going to let people know what it is, just in case you guys can go online and go see that. I just put it out there on the post there. So everybody, it's been a great call tonight. In Percy, everybody's saying great job. Everybody's coming in saying love the book. Very, very nice.
Well, I'd like to speak for the audience and basically thank you, Kevin, for doing this, because there's lots of things that I've learned over the last 6-8 weeks since you started this about Sqribble that I never would have found out. But it's only through you going through these demos and giving some instruction. And I'm sure that the rest of the people on the call feel the same way.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Percy. That's what we do. So everybody said, nice book job. So go team, go Percy. Fantastic. You have Snagit already? People are saying, Nancy, good job. Okay. Good job, Percy. That's what everybody's saying. Good job, good job, good job. So cool.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. We're going to thank Percy once again. Thank you, Percy. And I thank everybody for being on the call tonight. We're running that to the end here, so we're going to finish the call right now. And go to YouTube and look at the quick videos that I did. They're nothing special, but they will show you a lot of the internal tools. And like some of the people said tonight, send me the book next week. Somebody said here they were going to send me a book, so make sure you send me the book to my email. And everybody, I want you to write something this week. Please try, and then send it to me. If you don't, you don't, but please try. I'd appreciate it, and we'll go from there. And Percy, come back soon is what everybody's saying. So everybody,
will do.
Have a great evening.
This is not my last book, so I'll be back.
Percy's coming back, everybody. Book 2. All right. Thanks, Percy.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Everybody take care. Thank you.